So I have to make a separate video on top of my other video just for people to understand this a little bit more, because the people who've read it go crazy with non-understandings. I completely 3D printed custom shrouds for my CPU, my GPU exhaust, and my GPU intake. The GPU intake was the issue the entire time. The exhaust of the GPU is right here. That exhaust was going directly underneath, going right back into the intake of the GPU, because the intake fans of the GPU are hella strong. So it just sucks all of that air, and the temperatures were just creeping throughout stress tests, gaming, everything. Temperatures were just creeping, along with CPU temperatures. All temperatures were creeping inside my PC case because of the fact that the air was just getting trapped in there. No matter how much airflow I had in or out, there's nothing that can overpower the GPU fans underneath and just not allow the exhaust, which is hitting this glass, to just get sucked right back underneath. I tested it myself. Just damming the lower section of the GPU, just doing that saved me nearly 10 degrees Celsius. That is everything that I had to technically do. I just wanted to try and capture as much of the GPU exhaust as possible, because I didn't want the GPU, even though it's dammed off underneath and the GPU exhaust is no longer going underneath into the intake, it is being separated. That's the GPU temperatures, quite literally 10 degrees Celsius. So it has its own dedicated intake, which blows at 100%. Anytime GPU temperatures get to the point where it's like, hey, I'm gaming or doing something stressful, this immediately turns to 100% to give the GPU as much fresh air as possible. I also tuned all the fans. I did testing to make sure that the GPU fan, like this fan right here that's bringing fresh air to the GPU, was cramming too much or not giving it enough. Technically, it overspins because the GPU has enough power from its fans to overspin this single fan, which technically is a bottleneck, but it's not a bottleneck in the sense of it's actually hurting things. This is at full, when this is at full speed, it provides plenty of fresh air. It does have a little bit more vacuum from the GPU, but that's okay. That's fine. I added this external shroud because this is the GPU exhaust. See how easy that comes on and off? I made this. Like, if I don't want it on me, because people were like, I would hate that on me all the time. Just turn it. It doesn't matter. Like, all I'm trying to do is just keep this area right here as long as possible, or deflect the exhaust air from here, from the GPU, which is hot, which is as hot as it can get, from going directly back in. Like, that was an issue, and I tested that. I actually ran it without anything here, and I noticed a few degrees Celsius difference between having just this and putting this on here. Was like 2-3 degrees Celsius difference, because it's separating the hot exhaust air from the cool intake air. I tested it, it's fine. This shroud right here is actually just kind of sitting here, and it fills this gap. It is just pressed up against the front of the glass, so there's actually like a nice seal, so that way this hot GPU exhaust, along with, there's a pass-through port on the GPU. Here, let me do this all in one shot. Let me take my panel off too, so you guys can see. Doing this all in one take because I'm tired of producing a really incredible video for you guys explaining all of this, and then no one, like, people think I'm trying to get views because I did this. Bro, I'm doing this for you because you don't understand. I'm just trying to inspire you to do something cool with your PC. That's literally it. And it works. That's why I'm so confused. Like, y'all suck sometimes. So this right here, it's got a shroud, ends right at the beginning of the GPU. I printed this, and then I printed this in 2 separate pieces because this allowed, or 3 separate pieces, sorry. This is just sitting in here. Ready? Check it out. It literally fits in there so good that it just sits right on top of the GPU, just perfectly in place. So now this exhaust fan is getting as much air from the GPU exhaust as possible. It has the pass-through ports right here. It's blowing directly into the fan. All of this is open. The fan shroud runs right up to the bottom of the right up to the side of the GPU right there. It's scavenging as much of the exhaust air as possible. That's the entire goal. I didn't want it to come up and then just go into this airflow, because I have one fan for the CPU pushing nice cool air, and this fan and these fans and this fan all run at the same rate. Do you understand that? So it is, besides the turbulence of the fans, it's as laminar flow-esque as you can get. This fan is directly feeding this fan, which is directly feeding this fan, which is directly feeding this fan out. Yes, there's a little bit of scavenging here and there. That's okay. The premise is this is directly feeding beautiful cold air right into this fan, and this fan's sucking that cold air. There's like no pressure in this tube. It is a free-flowing air way, okay? But just so you don't know, I have a 140 millimeter fan at the very top running at really slow speeds just to take off any excess air from the motherboards in other areas. I don't want it running at crazy high speeds. If it was, it would then scavenge from other areas like the CPU cooler and such. Trust me, I tested it. I ran it at higher RPMs. It did worse. I lowered it. I seen improvements. I tested it both ways. I left it where I seen nice improvements. Slow speed, just sucking any of the excess air that it might escape the GPU and such. And then also I added an 80 millimeter fan right on the top that is spinning all the time, and a duct that opens up right on the back side over there that directly hit the VRMs and the motherboard. You guys don't need to worry, it's fine. There's tons of cool airflow through this area of the PC. None of the RAM is getting hot. It has direct airflow being sucked from this fan, like we're chilling. I thought of this. This isn't like my first rodeo when it comes to fluid dynamics and airflow. And plus, like, I don't get why people get so angry. Like, I'm literally doing this to hopefully inspire people to make their PC a little bit more unique and also have results in doing so. This has been tested. This isn't like a new theory. I'm not like stealing someone's idea like Optima. I'm literally just taking his idea and going like, wow, that actually worked really cool. I'm tired of my GPU constantly recirculating its hot air. Let me do something that I know I can do. I 3D printed an entire magnetized shroud on the front, dog. Like, what else do you want me to do? Like, look, 2 separate layers. Look at this. I tried doing filter material on the inside of this shroud covering the holes for the intake and this intake. I noticed a few degrees Celsius difference. I took it off because I don't really have that much dust to deal with. And then it's all magnetized. It just is perfect. It fits right on the front. But then this being like this, now mixing the intake and exhaust again. And it's kind of like when I printed this, I then realized, okay, I really do have, the whole reason for me printing this one is because the old one was a mesh front face, and the GPU exhaust and the intakes were mixing before they even escaped the mesh, and the mesh is a barrier. It doesn't just allow free-flowing air. Like, it's really not that great. So I 3D printed, or designed and 3D printed an entire new front cover, added some magnets to it, and now I have like little shrouds that I can interchange. And in the mornings when it's cold in here, because right now it's 65 degrees, but it's 61 sometimes in the morning, it's cold, I'll just throw on a stress test and turn this baby towards me, bro. Oh, it is nice. I'm telling you, it's nice. this build is fine. Y'all worry too much about like the weird shit, and you haven't even watched my video that I put together so beautifully for you. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask away, because I love inspiring and like helping people get to the next level with what they're building. I do this all the time. I'm literally an artist, so it's like, dog, like we do this all the time. Like you want to see the 3D printing setup? Check it out. Here's the studio for you guys to be freaking out. Look at this project I'm doing. Yeah. This is a bunch of Nike shoes that are brand new that I'm cutting apart for Nike. Like, this isn't my first rodeo doing shit. I got a lot of paint, and I 3D print a lot. So I'm trying to help inspire the next generation of people, you know what I'm saying? Thank you. I appreciate you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, because this was an extremely fun project. Like, one of the most fun projects I've had in a long time. My girlfriend was kind of like worried about me for a while, because I was just obsessing over this. But just to make it fit and everything was crazy. Like, making the rings just to space it a little bit more so that I'm getting better airflow and less scavenging outside of the pipe. But also, I can't print this on here because it physically will not fit. I have to have this as a separate piece than that. Same with here. It just will not fit in here, and allowing me to take everything out, and you know, if I need to take my SSD out, anything, I can do that.